What's up, everybody? Whoa, focus, there we go. Happy Easter. It is Easter morning that I'm recording this, and probably the same day that I'm posting it. But is it raining outside? Yes, it is. But unfortunately, everybody in the house is still asleep. There is no empty room for me to record in, and I don't want to be an asshole and wake everybody up. So I decided to come out here to do a video because it's been a minute since I did a proper movie review. Well, at least since last time when I was walking and reviewing like 3 movies at once. So I decided to come out here so I didn't have to wake anybody else up, and I could be as loud as I want, despite that it is raining right now. But before it started raining, me and my dog came out here and did a 1-mile walk. It felt amazing, pretty good. So I'm happy to get my workout of the day done and over with before the water started pouring down. Anyways, last night Lifetime premiered a new biopic. They've been doing a lot of biopics for the past couple of years, and this one meant more to me than any other biopic because it had to do with my favorite gospel group, the Clark Sisters. The title's called The Clark Sisters, First Ladies of Gospel. And I must say that, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my words together. I wrote notes down, but they were just jumbled up notes, and I can't even read half of what I wrote down last night. But for those who don't know who the Clark Sisters is, because, you know, not everybody grew up in the church, not everybody's black, not everybody, you know, listen to gospel music. So the Clark Sisters is a legendary gospel group, and pretty much the synopsis of this story is basically their beginning, their humble beginnings. Their mother was the president of or director of music of the entire Church of God in Christ denomination. Sorry, thunder. God, I'm trying to record a video. It has to do with your people on this lovely Easter Sunday. Can you please, you know, tone it down just a bit up there? God's trying. I think God knows how I'm gonna rank this video, so he's kind of trying to, you know. Okay, now I can start back. I do need to invest in a mic, but there's no way I can connect it to this camera, but priorities. But basically this film is about the humble beginnings of a girl group, a group of 5 girls, 5 daughters, that eventually went down to 4, and I'll talk more about that once I get deep into the review. But it was 5 girls, 5 sisters. Their mother was the director of music, not just of her church, but the entire denomination. The denomination is called Church of God in Christ, or COGIC for short. You know, you have Presbyterian, Baptist, Methodist, all this other stuff. Well, COGIC was, I'm not going to talk bad about them on Easter Sunday, but I grew up and was raised COGIC, so I know all of, I'm not going to talk bad about them on Easter Sunday, but I'm so glad I'm no longer COGIC, you know what I'm saying? But basically their mom, Dr. Maddie Moss Clark, she was popular, well-respected musician, singer, songwriter, and so she pretty much, I put this on Twitter and a lot of people loved it, she's pretty much the sanctified Christian Joe Jackson. She was very ambitious. She wanted her daughters to become famous, but in her words, famous for Jesus. And she was very strict on them, very manipulative, very controlling, and that's pretty much what drove the daughters crazy. And I'm glad that the Clark Sisters were open and transparent about that stuff, about the drama that went on with them, you know, with their mom trying to control their life and be like her, like Tiger Mom. And you know, we know those parents, you know, super religious. If you think about anything other than Jesus, you're wrong. You know, one daughter was grown, had a job, and her mom wouldn't let her in the house because her job uniform was to wear pants. You know, just if you know, you know. If you don't know, thank God you didn't raise in that environment. But so anyways, it showed the beginning, you know, how the mom was very super ambitious, the dad was abusive and aggressive and, you know, angry because he's a pastor, but his wife was more famous and more popular than he was, and he wanted her to just sit down and be first lady and shut up, and she wanted to pursue the music business with her daughters. And so let's start, before I get deep in this review, let's start with the good, because I want to be positive first on this lovely Easter Sunday, because I really love the Clark sisters. Clark sisters have been my heroes, my favorite musical artists ever since I was a kid. I've met them. I've even had a conversation with Dorinda, because she's my favorite member, and her and Karen, because her first album where she talked about her suicide attempt, you know, resonated with me, because the day that my mom bought her album home to listen to was the same day that I was about to go in my granddaddy's closet and get a gun, and, you know, end my life. So I have personal emotional attachments to the Clark sisters as a fan, as, you know, a former super zealous religious, you know, wanted to be a gospel rapper type child growing up back in the day. It's just, they're my heroes, you know what I'm saying? Besides Kurt Franklin, as far as the gospel music is concerned. And so when I heard that Lifetime was doing this, I was very skeptical. I was very worried. But then I heard that it was executive produced by Mary J. Blige, Queen Latifah, and Missy Elliott, and all three of those are just amazing women in music and acting and arts and movies and the whole 9 yard, TV show stuff. So I respected them enough to give it a chance, even though Lifetime has a record, Lifetime Movie Network has a record of making biopics of our heroes, our black heroes, and fucking it up. Lord forgive me for cussing. It is what it is. So I was worried, but then when I found out who exactly produced it, I had a little more faith in it. So let's talk about the positive. The positive is the music was slamming. The music was slamming. The actors they got to play the sisters sounded just like them. And they said that, you know, the women had to sing. They had to sing for the film. They wasn't lip singing. They wasn't dubbed over with the Clark sisters records. They had to sing. And so I feel like casting was amazing in that aspect. Their mother, well, the lady who played Maddie Moss Clark, her name is hard to pronounce, but she did an amazing job. She was phenomenal. She was the strong point as far as acting goes in that movie. She is top notch. Like, she was great. She was great. And you know, like I said, Maddie Moss Clark was pretty much the gospel sanctified Christian version of Joe Jackson, and this actress played her to a T. And even when I looked on Twitter, Kiki Sheard, which is Karen Clark Sheard's daughter, Maddie Moss Clark's granddaughter, said that that woman did an amazing job portraying her grandmother. So if the family says that she did a good job, she did a good job. Her acting was superb. It was amazing. So the actress who did Maddie Moss Clark, the singing, the girls did amazing. Karen's daughter played her, Kiki Sheard played her in the movie, which was a great choice. Just like when Straight Outta Compton came out, Ice Cube's son played him, a young version of him. I feel like if the kids look like their parents and can act, throw them in the biopic, because nobody knows that person's mannerisms, you know, the way they talk, the way they move, the way they twitch, the way their face changes or contorts when they feel certain emotions. Nobody can do that like their kids, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, she did a great job. Kiki did a great job playing her mom. What else? The cinematography, the dressing, the settings, real good. It really felt nostalgic, like back in those days. you know, with the clothes and everything and the styles. And you know, when they went to when they were performing at the Holy Convocations, it like really felt like we traveled back in time. So that was good on that part. And like I said, Lifetime Movie Network has a history of screwing up our legends biopics. Like they messed up the Whitney, they messed up Aaliyah, they messed up, who else they did, the Braxton's, Tony Braxton's story. They ruined those biopics. They should have never touched them. This one looked like it had more care, more thoughts, more effort put into this film, and make it above all the rest of the Lifetime biopics that they've done in the past. That's the good. Now let's get to the bad or not so good. I'm not gonna say it's bad. The girls playing the Clark sisters, they did an amazing job for the most part. I want to say 80 to 85% they did great for the most part. But there were certain points in the film. It wasn't the whole film. There were certain points in the film, like the dramatization, like when the dad was beating Maddie Moss Clark, or when the girls were older and grown, they were arguing with their mom about, you know, giving them some freedom in life. Certain parts, especially the drama scenes, were very cringe. Like that, like the girls tried their best. They tried their best. They're great actors, but on certain drama scenes, it just felt like they were acting too hard, to the point to where you could tell it's acting and not, it didn't feel so authentic. I'm not gonna say it was bad, but certain scenes were cringe in a way. And again, 80 to 85% of the time, they were great. They were good. It was amazing. But then there were just certain parts where, you know, I'm trying not to be too critical, but at the same time, I don't want to be biased because I love the Clark sisters so much. It was just certain drama scenes. I don't know how to explain it. It just, they acted too hard. To where it was like, like, you know, if one fell to the ground, it was like, like some Mad TV or some SNL type stuff, to the point to where one scene that was so dramatic and it was supposed to be so deep and so raw that I laughed. That's not good. Like, I laughed at a certain part that wasn't supposed to be funny. And so that's a negative. And after Maddie Moss Clark passed away, spoiler alert, it's not really a spoiler because it's, you know, time will tell you that she's been gone. But after she passed away, the pacing, whoever wrote the script or directed, the pacing after the funeral was just like, some biopics that they do for TV, they break it up into several parts, you know, like the Jacksons, and I think like Lifetime didn't do it, but you know, the Bobby Brown New Edition stories, they broke it up into parts. You know, like Friday they could have did part 1, talk about the girls' upbringing and everything else. Part 2, you know, Saturday they could have premiered a part 2 and did, you know, their solo careers or whatever, because everybody went solo at a certain point. And then and then they could have had their reunion at part 3 or at the end of part 2. You know, we could have made this a 2 or 3 day event because it's on TV, it's Lifetime. We're quarantined, ain't nobody going nowhere. You would have got the views. You would have got, if Lifetime would have let them break it up into parts and expand the story, because there's a lot of story there, you would have got it. You would have got the views. Everybody would have tuned in. Twitter was popping, Facebook was popping during this premiere because so many black people, so many black kids, millennials, adults, old people were watching. They were tuned in to Lifetime. People, grown men who don't watch Lifetime was watching Lifetime during this, and they were tweeting about it. Like, you could have spaced this out, but you tried to cram everything at the end, and the pacing was horrible. Like, I believe it was the comedian Kevin Sage. He had tweeted, "Oh, we almost lost Dorinda and Karen in just 2 minutes." And like, that's not good. as far as filmmaking goes, as far as making a movie, that's not good to rush, because these women went through solo careers, but they also went through a lot of mess. Dorinda almost killed herself. She almost committed suicide. Karen went in for a surgery, and the surgery went wrong. She only had a 2% chance to live. She was in a coma. And I think when TV1 did Clark Sisters Unsung, they said she was in a coma for like a month and a half. Twinkie had a nervous breakdown, a mental breakdown, and was in the hospital. Y'all could have stretched this out and expanded this all, and they all had solo careers. They all dropped like 2, 3, 4 albums before they did their reunion. Why did y'all rush? You rushed it. It was like the movie was Mattie Moss Clark being Joe Jackson to the Clark sisters. Record labels, the record labels were trying to split them up, trying to sign them individually, and split them up before they even started. They performed at the Grammys and got in trouble with the church. They rushed through all that, and it was just so much story to tell. And because this isn't a movie that's in the theaters, it was on TV, you could have broken it up and spaced it out better. The pacing was trash at the end. At the last third of the movie, the pacing was trash. As soon as Mattie Moss Clark died and they did the funeral scene, which was hilarious, it was horrible. It was horrible. The pacing was trash. You tried to kill 2 of the girls in just 2 minutes and rush through that story. You barely touched on their solo careers. It was just, it was crazy. It was disappointing. It was disappointing after that, you know, on the last thirds of the film. And so those are the only 2 negatives. You know, certain drama scenes were acted not so well, and the pacing after Mattie Moss Clark passed away was not that good. But everything before that, the beginning, the first act and second act, were great. Amazing. I love their beginning story of them growing up as kids and as teenagers and trying to date and trying to sneak around and, you know, date behind their mom's back while still trying to do the music thing. It was good. It was great. And there were more positives than there were negatives. And so at first, while I was watching the movie, like the first 2 acts, I was like, I give this a 7.5 out of 10. That would be my score. Maybe pushing it at 8 because I'm so biased and I love the Clark sisters so much. But then that last act where they rushed through everything, I have to give it a 6 out of 10 as far as filmmaking goes. As a Clark sisters fan, oh, it's up there because I love the Clark sisters. I was very nostalgic with the songs. The girls that they cast to sing did great. They sounded like them. It was amazing. The ending transition where they showed the girls on stage performing Blessed and Highly Favored, and then it transitioned to the actual real Clark sisters singing that song on stage. Amazing, beautiful, great. But that last act after the funeral, where they were just rushing through their hard times and their struggles and rushing through the solo careers, it knocked it down to a 6 out of 10 when it comes to filmmaking. I just wish Lifetime would leave our legends alone. Go back to the trash you used to make where a white woman killed her cheating and abusive husband, or a girl that got kidnapped and the police trying to find. Go back to that shit. Leave black legends alone. You fucked up Aaliyah movie, you fucked up Whitney Houston, you fucked up Toni Braxton's story. Lifetime don't care about us. They're just clout chasers. They're culture vultures. They're making money off our legends. And then during this they announced that they're doing a Salt and Pepper movie. So you about to disrespect Salt and Pepper like that? And then they also, the people who did the R. Kelly documentary, which, you know, I don't give a fuck about R. Kelly. He's trash. He's in jail, thank God. But they're doing a documentary on Whitney and Christina, Bobby Christina, her daughter, talking about their drug abuse and their pain. Why are we allowing Lifetime to disrespect us like this? Why are we allowing Lifetime Movie Network to fuck this up? I'm not watching that documentary. I'm not supporting that. Leave Bobby Christina and Whitney Houston alone. Let them rest in peace. Leave them alone. They're no longer here. They can't defend themselves. Yes, they have struggles. A lot of people did. Drugs is bad, but we have to... Drugs should not be a money maker for the white people. Especially black pain and black struggles. Like, oh, fuck you, Lifetime. Fuck you. And that's it. That's my review. Clark Sisters biopic was better than any other biopic they've ever done, but I think it's because of the people they had behind it, like Mary J. Blige, Missy Elliott, and Queen Latifah. They did a great job. For the most part, this movie was great. I enjoyed it. It was amazing. It was just that last act really disappointed me, but what are we gonna do? You can't expect much out of Lifetime. But anyways, what do you guys think? Have you guys seen it? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe, like. More things coming soon, because I have nothing better to do during this quarantine. You know what I'm saying? But let me go. This movie is already this review is already too long. I did my rant. Like I said, I liked this movie more than I disliked it. I just was the things I disliked about it really disappointed me, because I love the Clark Sisters that much. That's all. But great job to the cast, everybody. Y'all did good. I will check. We will see what other movies I can watch. I watched a lot of movies on Netflix and stuff and TV shows, so I'll probably crank out another review, if not today then tomorrow. But I'll check y'all out later. Happy Easter. Happy everything. Jesus has risen. You know, if you're not in a city where it's raining and storming, put eggs out in the yard for your kids, Easter bunny, all that jazz. Love y'all. Happy holidays. I'm out.